Rumors about the closeness between Ziyu and Tian Xuning have always been a hot topic. From the way they talk to each other, from the deep gazes that go beyond mere coworkers, to the small moments that are intentionally or unintentionally captured on camera, everything forms a series of stories that make fans wonder, what is really going on behind the scenes? However, no one knew that on that day, behind the gentle smile that Tian Xuning usually showed, there was something that made Ziyu feel uncomfortable. It all started when the variety show crew was preparing for outdoor filming. The atmosphere was cheerful, full of laughter, and the artists seemed to mingle with each other while waiting for their turn. Tian Xuning, who was known to be friendly and easy to get along with, was suddenly greeted by a guest artist who immediately hugged her. The hug was natural, warm, and seemed very intimate. Everyone around thought it was normal, but not Ziyu. From a distance, Ziyu, who had just arrived carrying a bottle of drink, froze in his tracks. His gaze sharpened, his expression changed subtly but clearly reflected his dislike. The hand holding the bottle even tightened slightly, as if he was holding something back inside himself. He was not the type to easily show his emotions, but for Tian Xuning, all his walls of control could come crashing down without warning. Several crew members who saw the stare looked at each other for a moment, then chuckled softly, realizing that a little drama had just begun. But they didn't dare to speak loudly, because they knew how cold Ziyu could become when teased about sensitive matters. And Tian Xuning? He didn't even realize that he was creating a small storm in someone's heart. When the hug ended, Tian Xuning smiled broadly, chatting briefly with the artist before turning to rejoin his group. That was when their eyes met, Ziyu standing stiffly and Tian Xuning wearing his usual natural smile. But that smile slowly faded when he saw Ziyu's cold expression. "What's wrong?" whispered a crew member who passed by Ziyu, but the corners of his lips were raised in a teasing manner. Ziyu only replied with a short mumble, "Nothing." But everyone knew it was clearly not nothing. The filming went on as usual, but throughout that time, Tian Xuning felt that something was off. Usually, Ziyu would be near him, at least close enough to make small sarcastic comments or respond to jokes. But this time, Ziyu chose to keep his distance. It wasn't because he was angry, but it was enough to make Tian Xuning wonder. Ziyu's eyes occasionally glanced in his direction, but quickly looked away when Tian Xuning returned his gaze. Before the lunch break, the situation became clearer. In a game that required participants to form groups, Tian Xuning almost joined the artist who had hugged her earlier. But before she could get close, Ziyu suddenly appeared from behind and pulled Tian Xuning's arm with a quick but gentle movement. "You're with me," Ziyu said briefly, his voice low and leaving no room for protest. Tian Xuning raised his eyebrows. "Why? We can choose our own groups." Ziyu looked straight into his eyes, and that gaze made Tian Xuning fall silent. "I don't want you with him." It was simple, honest, and very Ziyu. Tian Xuning wanted to laugh, wanted to tease, but there was something in Ziyu's gaze that made him choose to remain silent. There was a small wound there, a kind of insecurity that he had never seen so clearly before. Maybe it was because Ziyu was good at hiding his feelings, or maybe it was because he never wanted to show them to the world. During lunch break, Tian Xuning sat next to her. They didn't talk much. Only the sound of spoons and forks could be heard, until finally, Tian Xuning took a deep breath and said, "If you're angry, say so. Don't just stay silent like this." Ziyu looked at him, this time more gently, but still with tension. "I'm not angry." "Then what?" Ziyu sighed, trying to organize the words in his head. All this time, he rarely opened up. But Tian Xuning was no stranger. Tian Xuning always managed to break through even the thickest walls. "I just don't like it," he finally said, "seeing you hug someone else." Tion Xuning almost laughed, but held it back. Ziyu, it's just a hug. Everyone sees it as a greeting. I'm not everyone, Ziyu replied quickly. I'm different. Those words made Tion Xuning fall silent. There was something in her tone, something deeper than just jealousy, something that showed that Tion Xuning meant more to her than just a friend. Ziyu looked down for a moment, before continuing in a softer voice, almost like an unplanned confession. I don't like seeing you with other people. I just want you to be with me. A long silence followed. Tion Xuning stared at Ziyu's face, trying to understand all the emotions conveyed, without words. And for the first time, he saw so clearly how much he really affected that person, how important he was in Ziyu's life. I need you, Ziyu added, more softly, but more honestly than anything he had ever said. Those words hit Tion Xuning harder than anything else. He swallowed, his heart beating a little faster. Not because he was surprised, but because he felt the same way, only he had never dared to admit it. Tion Xuning moved closer, patting Ziyu's shoulder gently, then said, If you need me, just say so. Let me know. I also don't want you to misunderstand. Ziyu lifted his face, looking deeply into Tion Xuning's eyes as if to make sure he hadn't heard wrong. There was warmth there. There was honesty. There was something that only the two of them understood without ever saying it. I'm still here, Tion Xuning added softly. So don't be overly jealous. That's easy to say, Ziyu muttered. Tion Xuning laughed softly. So, what do you want? Don't hug other people, Ziyu replied without hesitation. If that makes you feel better, then so be it, replied Tion Xuning with a smile that only appeared when he was with Ziyu. There was nothing more to say. Their world felt smaller, closer, and warmer. They didn't need definitions or labels. The feelings they held were enough, feelings that became clearer that day. Ziyu did need Tion Xuning. And Tion Xuning, even though he didn't say it out loud, also needed Ziyu. Behind the camera, behind the stage, and far from the public eye, there was a story that only the two of them shared. A story where a single embrace could shake someone's heart. A story where jealousy wasn't just an emotion, but proof that their relationship was far deeper than the world knew.